Guys, this is your girl Wakeji Kamore and welcome to Reflections by Wakeji Kamore. I hope that you guys are doing well. We are still in the book of Proverbs and we're gonna be here for a little while, maybe at least a month or so, because it has 31 chapters, a little bit longer than a month because it has 31 chapters. Today we are going to be looking at Proverbs Chapter 5. And I'm going to be reading this chapter word for word from the NLT version, which is the New Living Translation. If you haven't read this chapter for yourself, please pause this video and read the chapter for yourself. I like to say, let's give the Holy Spirit a chance to actually speak to us. Let's give God a chance to actually speak to us. All right, I'm going to hope and pray that you have already paused and read the chapter for yourself. So let's go ahead and read it. Chapter 5. The topic is avoid immoral women. My son, pay attention to my wisdom. Listen carefully to my wise counsel. Then you will show discernment, and your lips will express what you have learned. For the lips of an immoral woman are as sweet as honey, and her mouth is smoother than oil. But in the end, she is as bitter as poison, as dangerous as a double-edged sword. Her feet go down to death. Her steps lead straight to the grave, for she cares nothing about the path to life. She staggers down a crooked trail and does not realize it. So now, my sons, listen to me. Never stray from what I'm about to say. Stay away from her. Literally, this summarizes the whole chapter. Stay away from her. Verse 8, stay away from her. Verse 9, don't go near the door of her house. Actually, that was still verse 8. Verse 9, if you do, you will lose your honor, and you will lose to merciless people all that you have achieved. Strangers will consume your wealth, and someone will enjoy the fruit of your labor. In the end, you will groan in anguish. When disease consumes your body, you will say, how I hated discipline. If only I had not ignored all the warnings. Oh, why didn't I listen to my teachers? Why didn't I pay attention to my instructors? I have come to the brink of utter ruin, and now I must face public disgrace. Drink water from your own well. Share your love only with your wife. Why spill the water of your spring in the streets, having sex with just anyone? You should reserve it for yourself. Never share it with strangers. Let your wife be a fountain of blessings for you. Rejoice in the wife of your youth. She is a loving dear, a graceful doe. Let her breast satisfy you always. May you always be captivated by her love. Why be captivated, my son, by an immoral woman, and fondle the breast of the promiscuous woman? For the Lord sees clearly what a man does, examining every path he takes. An evil man is held captive by his own sins. There are ropes that catch and hold him. He will die for lack of self-control. He will be lost because of his great foolishness. Oof. Kama kupashwa ni kupashwa ndio hiyo. Proverbs chapter 5. For me, in Proverbs chapter 5, Solomon makes it clear that a wise man does not go anywhere near immoral women. Like, that is like the clarity that he makes. A wise man will not get caught up in adultery with a woman who is not his wife, because he knows that adultery leads to ruin and to shame. This chapter, to me, doesn't necessarily speak to me about adultery. And I mean, for obvious reasons. First, I'm not married, and I'm not a man. Like, I'm not a young man who's going to sleep with a married woman. And I know that, yes, we can reverse this lesson and take the different, like the reverse lesson for ourselves. But this chapter specifically speaks to me about self-control and the beauty of making up your mind and making a resolve before you find yourself in the situation. I really like how Solomon is advising his son. And in verse 8, he's very specific and the instruction is clear. He says, stay away from her. Stay away from her! Exclamation mark. And then addition, don't go near the door of her house. To me, this instruction says, make a resolve to not do something. That's the staying away from her. And then don't put yourself in spaces where that resolve is going to be tested. And that is, do not go near the door of her house. For instance, if you make a resolve to not do drugs, that's a really good resolve. But maybe you should add another part of a resolve, almost like a practice that helps you stay the course of the resolve, and say, then I shouldn't toy around with drugs and just say, oh, let me just taste it and see how it tastes, or let me just, take this once or even a quarter of it to just see how I react to it. No, you should make a resolve and then create practices that will help you stay the course of your resolve. If you make a resolve to not have drugs, maybe the next thing you need to say is, then I can't hang around people who do drugs, or I can't hang around places where drugs are sold or are used or consumed. I think if we approached self-control in this manner, if we approached self-control from this angle, it would be easier for us to stay the course. But most of us, I included, we want to make a resolve to not do something, but then slowly expose ourselves to spaces, expose ourselves and the resolve we've made to spaces that tempt that very resolve. It tempts the resolve that we've made, and slowly by slowly, yes, today you'll be like, okay, today I succeeded, tomorrow lacha niende hapo tena, and then a day will come that you will not be able to stay the course of your resolve. The more we expose ourselves to spaces where our resolves can be tested, the faster we will fall. So what's the resolve that you're making today? So think about that resolve. Think about the resolve that you want to make today. What's the resolve? All right. So what are the spaces? What are the people? What are the things that you need to keep off so that then you're able to stay the course of your resolve? For me, let's say, for example, if I made a resolve to not eat wheat and sugar, it means by the time I get into a restaurant, I must have prepared in my mind what I want to eat. Otherwise, the cocktails, not even the cocktails, the mocktails and the juices. And then nowadays, juices, I don't even know what they have. Those things they call mocktails. They have a syrup of sugar. My God, that thing tastes good. Ina taste muzuri. It tastes so good. It's so sweet. That sugar syrup they put nowadays in juices. It's so good. So, if I make a resolve that I don't want to take sugar and I don't want to take wheat, then that means by the time I go to a restaurant, because it's also important to say, maybe I should minimize the number of times I go to restaurants, because the temptation there is high, is so high. And even say, okay, fine, if I'm going to go to this restaurant, before I enter the restaurant, I must know exactly what I'm going to take while I'm there. That way, I'm not going to get tempted to take the juices, the sweet things, and the wheat, and the cookies, and the cakes, and all that. So, what is your resolve? And what are the practices that you need to create so then your resolve can stand for longer? And then after you set your resolve and the practices that support that resolve, we also need to ask God for help, because our bodies are weak. Our bodies cannot win against these battles by ourselves. We honestly do need to take some time to ask God for help, because we are weak and we cannot win this battle all by ourselves. So make a resolve. Look for practices that will help your resolve to stand. Practices or things that you need to stay away from to help your resolve to stand. And then ask God to help you to keep this resolve. Thank you so much for listening, and see you tomorrow. Ciao.